Rob Manfred is the commissioner of baseball. And over the weekend, we heard Manfred get asked a couple of questions about the future of the game. Some pretty interesting ones. Here they are.
How about a window into the future? Expansion, realignment, expanded playoffs. I mean, Can you see that down the road?
I can. I think the first two topics are related in my mind. I think if we expand, it provides us with an opportunity to geographically realign. I think we could save a lot of wear and tear on our players in terms of travel. And I think our postseason format would be even more appealing for, entities like ESPN, because you'd be playing up out of the East, out of the West, and that 10 o'clock time slot where we, sometimes get Boston, Anaheim, would be two West Coast teams, and that 10 o'clock slot that's a problem for us sometimes becomes a real opportunity for our West Coast audience. So I think, I think the owners realize that there's demand for Major League Baseball in a lot of great cities, and that we have an opportunity to do something good around that expansion process.
Let's focus on the Houston Astros when it comes to realignment. I think that our first gut reaction whenever you hear Rob Manfred is F you, right? Okay. 3, 2, 1. F you, Rob Manfred. But some decent points made. Number one, the idea of geographic realignment. Do any of us want to watch another Astros-A's game, Astros-Angels game that starts at 9 o'clock, especially given the lack of competitiveness from those two teams? I mean, they've been jokes for a while. That's about 13 games a year between those two teams that theoretically are going to start late. You're not going to watch them. A lot of people aren't going to watch them, at least the whole thing. Killing the local networks. You're having people just check out. Sometimes those games can be entertaining. So that's one part of this. Also, the idea that maybe a league with a little bit less travel reduces the wear and tear. I can buy into that. And with this Astros training and medical staff, I mean, they need all the help they can get with all these Dr. Frankensteins in the clubhouse. So that could help too. And I think most importantly, it would be nice if we could see the Houston Astros playing playoff games in a window that we don't have to leave work from. I mean, that's been really obnoxious. Over the entirety of this run, how many playoff games have you missed because you had to watch a game that started at 3 o'clock or something like that, 2 o'clock, noon? I'm not saying that having games that begin at 10 p.m. is going to necessarily allow you to watch those games or have them start a little bit later on, but there is a possibility, and that part has been, to me, pretty frustrating, especially now that I'm doing the noon to 3 window. I mean, both Astros-Tigers games that I went to, it's pretty tough to get there on time. And I cover sports for a living. I can't even imagine what it's like for you. It's in the kind of borderline rush hour window, too. It's already a bitch to get to Houston sporting events. We're always fashionably late. Sometimes it's because we're just slow. Other times there's legitimate excuses. Yada, yada, yada. You might hate Rob Manfred, but some of those ideas I think are appealing.
Yeah, the reasoning for them that he gives there, aren't super compelling to me as a baseball fan, where he's like, yeah, it'd set up a more appealing postseason format for ESPN. I'm like, I don't care, dude. That's clearly you just being like, we could ask for more money from TV partners that our owners won't spend on the field. That's cool. Whatever. That's your job. I got it. But the thing with the Astros is that, like, with realignment, there's not the, like, easy answer of, like, put it, there's the Rangers.
Yes.
Put them in a division with the Rangers. After that, it's very much kind of how old you are or what you value in this, or do you want to go pure geography, or do you want to have some tie to, like, the NL Central? Like, do you want to be in the division with the Cardinals? Do you not care? And do you want to be with the Rockies and the D-backs? Like, they're just in this weird no man's land when it comes to the geographic part of geographical realignment.
Astros history has already been bastardized by the fact that in 2011, they left the National League for the American League. So all of those series that you might have grown up watching against the Braves, or if you want to go way back in time when the Astros were playing the Dodgers in the National League, obviously the Cardinals, Cubs, all of that is already out the window. That was almost 15 years ago. Hasn't time flown by so quickly? So you have an entire generation of young baseball fans, the ones that do care about the sport, that have no context for a Cardinals-Astros game with all those playoff matchups that they had in the early 2000s, or Astros-Braves, late 90s, early 2000s. That's already gone. So it's a great question, Sean. I've seen a couple of ideas thrown out there, and I don't know what would work, because first off, you got to figure out where these expansion teams would come from that would lead to 32 teams and probably a NFL kind of model where there's 4-team divisions. How many games do you play against those teams in your division? Is it still 13? Are you playing every single team out there? And then who gets put in? Because, all right, you got the natural rival in state with the Texas Rangers. Astros and the Rangers are probably going to be joined at the hip. But after that, who? The Royals? If we're talking about geographically close teams, that's the next one.
It's pretty far, and it's geographically the closest.
I mean, you do have a little playoff history with them back in 2015, but that's it. Yeah. Cardinals also closer than most.
It's a little bit of like those two teams are paired up and don't have a clean fit elsewhere. Texas and Houston are paired up and don't have a clean fit elsewhere. There you go. But it's still a little odd couple-y of like, it's not perfect. That's why like the Rockies, like it makes a little bit more sense. Just mentally, it seems that they're more closer together.
Houston to Denver flights are about as cheap as it gets. And exactly. They are the already natural interleague rivals.
That too.
But this is a team with very little history that stinks. Would be nice to play against the Colorado Rockies on a regular basis.
That's part of it.
If you want to add a perk. Diamondbacks, I guess that makes a little bit of sense as well. But it does get tricky because, okay, is one of these expansion teams going to be in San Antonio or Austin? I doubt it. It sounds like it's going to be Nashville and maybe Portland or Salt Lake City. And again, I don't know. The fit's going to be weird. Is there some sort of division that features the Atlanta Braves? But the Braves are close to the Tampa Bay Rays and close to the Florida Marlins. And this is where it gets a little bit wonky. I think what sucks for the Astros is their location and the fact that their history has already been just thrown in the trash as far as the history playing against other teams. And I think that's one of the few things baseball has left. And it is, I think, Rob Manfred's biggest flaw in his attempts to modernize the game. He has really, and I don't think intentionally, but he should have been able to see this, given a middle finger to the history of the sport.
Yeah, and it's a tough line for baseball to walk because that is kind of like they're like the sport with the cleanest connection to their history, the easiest connection to their history, and it's the very, revered thing in baseball, more so like in other sports, where you have that part of the job. But then you also have the job of modernizing it, and like you're kind of getting pulled in two directions. I think the realignment thing is the clearest example of that because we're talking about a team in the Astros that already has moved around divisions in the National League, and then B
I forgot too. NL West of the Central.
B moved around from the National to the American League. And really, since they've been in the American League, it's been the Rangers twice, 2 seasons that they've really been head-to-head, battling with them. But the geography there makes it more of a rivalry. But then, Mariners, there's no chance that they're going to be in the division with the Mariners, the A's, or the Angels ever again if this plan goes through.
And I'm not going to lie, I've enjoyed Astros Mariners. Yeah. I have. It's turned into you don't like the Mariners if you're an Astros fan. Mariners fans hate the Astros. There's actual hate there, and you're just going to throw that out, and now you're going to try to recreate this with the Rockies or with the Diamondbacks or with the Royals. I guess with the Cardinals is there, but again, it's still dated when it comes to the Cardinals. So that's what gets a little bit tricky. If you're looking at it from give the Astros the best advantage possible, then you should be praying that the Rockies get added to this division. Praying. Truly praying. Honestly, the Royals wouldn't be bad in there too, because the Royals are a small market team and they have been good the last couple of seasons, but generally they would find their way back in there. But there's definitely no easy fix. And while the idea is certainly an interesting one to talk about, I feel like the Astros will lose in some way, shape, or form coming out of it. And definitely where they will lose no matter what is in history, because you are once again going to try to recreate a feeling of dislike with another franchise. I'd say this about the Astros and the Rangers. It has heated up recently. And for the last 10 years, there have been moments where it was good towards the end of the Rangers' early 2010s run, and when the Astros were finally getting good. I remember 2015, they got in some fisticuffs a couple of times with brouhahas, Donnybrooks, whatever. They weren't serious or anything like that. But then, of course, the Rangers went downhill for a while, and it's only been until the last couple of seasons where they've had a pulse. And, I've seen Astros fans root for the Rangers in the World Series. So I even wonder if you even have that much vitriol for the Rangers as a whole when they're not good, And that's the bummer about this. And I think that will ultimately be the L that the Astros take if there is some sort of realignment and there is expansion, is that you're going to once again have step rivals, essentially, where there's not really history behind it. It's going to have to be created over time. And it's just really hard to do that if now you are in a league where you're playing every single team over the course of a season. Do you go back to the way things were before, where you were playing 18, 19 games against your division opponents a year? I suppose that could add to it, but it's going to take 5-10 years to, I think, hate these other teams.
Oh, yeah.
You have to learn to hate them. You have to become a married couple with them, essentially.
Yeah, the AL West, there's not really besides the Mariners, and when the Rangers are good, because you bring up a good point. When the Rangers and Astros are good at the same time, there's not a huge rivalry. Before 2022, there wasn't a rivalry with the Mariners.
No.
There's nothing there. So I think that it is something that it just will have to build over time, and it's going to be a refresh button when they actually do this. I also think that given the Astros, last decade of success tells you anything, a lot of these rivalries are going to get made in the postseason anyway. So if you look at if you're to run a poll on who Astros fans hate the most or what teams they hate the most, it'd be a lot of Yankees and Dodgers. And that is strictly through playing in the postseason, less so than division rivalries. Because for the first half of the Astros run, there really wasn't a division race ever.
No, not at all. They're just running away with
From
it.
17 on.
No, you're right, though. You're right. They were running away with the thing for a while.